Theories hint that Palpatine's consciousness could be in Darth Vader's helmet or Snoke. That is the headline on this week's Force Friday show. And Stephen, the first of these potential theories we're going to get our teeth into is the potential Darth Vader, the Darth Julius Vader MacGuffin mask theory. I've never heard of this MacGuffin thing. It's apparently it's a item of interest which pushes a plot onwards. And in this case, there's a couple, but we'll get into the Vader one first. Essentially, that he perhaps impressed his consciousness onto Vader's mask. Now, I don't know how he's managed this, Stephen. I don't want to get into the nitpicking little details. He could have impressed himself onto Vader at the moment of his death when Vader is throwing him over the balcony in the throne room in Return of the Jedi. That is possible. Or perhaps it's just he's so powerful, he's fallen to his death, he's somehow impressed himself onto Vader. I don't know how it works. But it would, because we don't know if it's true or not yet, but it would add another dimension onto those conversations that obviously Kylo Ren, Ben Solo was having with the mask in The Force Awakens. He had that moment where he was talking to the mask, I'll not fail you, I'll finish what you started. Grandfather, now, obviously.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to talk about.
He's not grandfather, but could it be an elaborate con from the most sort of a...
The Emperor is very good at doing impersonations.
The dodgiest guy, he is pretty good at impersonations. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I'll let you in, Stephen, before I get down. And Anthony Daniels rabbit hole again.
I don't know, John. Honestly, I don't think it's going to really add weight to those scenes, to be honest with you. I think they served a purpose. Really, for us audience members, that was us really just getting to know the character Kylo Ren and his sort of mental state of mind, rather than what we were getting out of the mask sitting on those ashes. I think it was just a prop for the character to show us where he was in his head, how far along he was in the dark side. I don't think there's any truth in this, to be honest with you. I think also the line with the grandfather, I'm pretty sure that's what it says, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
I will not fail you, grandfather, or something. I can't remember.
I'll finish what you started or something.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any sort of meat on that bone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right, Stephen, but it did go an awful long way to retrieving the charred remains of his grandfather's mask from Endor. Now, could it be that we do get that hybrid Anakin Force Ghost, perhaps, linked to this tether to it? I don't know. I don't think this is true, Stephen. I think it's a lot of utter shite. I think it's a McGovern
baloney.
Misdirect. Baloney, yeah. So I'm going to move right on to the other theory on that note, because I just don't think...
I'll shut them down as you put them in front of me, Jen.
We're only 4 minutes in here, Stephen. This is going to be a long show. But I don't think that's true. I agree with you. I think that is a misdirect. And the other one, I think perhaps, is also untrue as well. Something has to stick. The other one is obviously about Snoke. Could he have possessed, or not possessed, I think that's a little bit strong, could he have imparted his consciousness onto Snoke? Is he a bit of a body hopper, like we've seen in Get Out, where he just puts himself onto these new entities and bodies?
Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky. Child's Play meets Star Wars. Is he impressing himself onto these things are these objects, living beings, to keep himself living? And could he, as we'll get into later, perhaps do this again with a potential new cast member?
Snoke never mentions Emperor at any point.
No.
In the Force Awakens or The Last Jedi.
That could be the cunning of the Emperor again, though.
Yeah. It could be. I actually believe this one more than I do the Vader helmet one.
Yeah. Because it's an inanimate object. Yeah. It's a living thing, not an inanimate object.
If you've got the ability to possess it, you're not going to pick something
that's charred.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Horrible thought.
Yeah, I think this one's more plausible. I still think if I'm given percentages of any chance of this making it into the film, I'd probably maybe say about 15%. I still think and they only base that on the fact that Palpatine is going to come back in some spiritual form. I don't think he's going to come back in any sort of solid form or whatever. And I think it's going to be on the Death Star ruins more than anything that we see in that trailer.
That makes more sense to me,
I think that's what most people are sort of predicting at this stage. But that that wouldn't be totally out of place. It might. I don't really know, because I think the character of Snoke served his purpose in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I don't think Palpatine would have to come back in that sort of form. If he has got the power to possess, then can he not come back as a ghost like the Jedi can?
I don't think they can. I don't think the dark side can do that. I think we've seen, I don't know who it was it says, it may have been Yoda or Obi-Wan says, excuse me, I'm drifting here.
Yeah. Chico
time. He says that isn't possible, just because I think it's something to do with the Force. If you live a good life, you're in the light side of the
Yoda
Force.
said this. Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing big time. Big time. That if you're a good person, a wholesome person, that allows you, the benefits of that are then at the end of your life you can become, if you know the ways, and obviously Qui-Gon imparted this knowledge onto subsequent generations, or Force users, not generations, that's been a little bit strong. He gave it to Yoda, I think, who then gave it to Obi-Wan. That you can, I digress, you can live in the Force, you can become one with the Force and live on eternally. I don't think if you're a dark side user and you're doing and using the Force for nefarious reasons or acts, that you can then become one with the Force, because it will reject it. But I think you could perhaps tether yourself to an object. We've seen that explored, as I did say, numerous times before, Stephen, and you can tether yourself to objects. The likes of Exar kind of done it in the temple on Yavin 4. So maybe this is what they are going to explore. I think if I was to be a betting man and you were to give me an over-under of perhaps 50%, I think over that it was going to be the Death Star would be my choice. Under for Snoke. But this all stems, Stephen, from a theory from someone, or a potential leak. A user claimed back in February that Palpatine would be revealed to have returned by transferring his consciousness to Supreme Leader Snoke. Always want to see conscience, which isn't correct. And then he would then subsequently transfer his consciousness onto a physical object. So it could be we get an amalgamation of the two. He was living on in Snoke. Snoke bites the dust, and he somehow finds his way into Darth Vader's helmet.
Listen,
but that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't explain why they're so desperate to go to the Death Star.
If they go down that road, it's not going to be as far-fetched as you think, John. Snoke's ability and sensing what his apprentice was up to a point, obviously, because we saw what happened to him, was almost Palpatine-like. He had that. He possessed that power.
Yeah. That moment prior to it, where he's essentially ragdolling Rey around his throne. That's pretty cool.
But the point of Palpatine possessing Snoke, why not just possess Kylo Ren?
Yeah, and why would they want to possess Snoke and then not just let everyone know, Kylo included, that this is Palpatine, I'm possessing this guy, using him as a physical bitch, if you like, a decoy. I'm Palpatine, and just make it known. It doesn't make sense, Stephen, to me. I really don't like the idea or the concept, but we had to speak about something. It's so quiet. There is no information about Star Wars, so we clickbaited the title and the thumbnail, and we discussed these potential naff theories. But as I did say, I think he is going to be, because people can't understand me when I speak in that manner, tethered to the Death Star in some form or vein. And that would then explain why, at that precise moment, unless it's a misdirect in the trailer, we hear obviously Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker saying, no one's ever really gone. You have the shot of the Death Star, and then you hear the maniacal laugh of the Emperor. But look, Stephen, the other theory that is propping up out of this is that he could potentially be possessing a member of the Knights of Ren after body hopping. He's a body hopper, and that Matt Smith could be rumoured to be playing a Knight of Ren, and that he could be the possessed Knight of Ren. And this lends into the next topic, Stephen, because we're seeing something from, I think it's Variety, that he decided to stay mum, they say, I don't know what that means, about the whole thing. Revealing that he's not actually in the film, or he hadn't heard he was. It was all Bill Nye from Auf Wiedersehen, we said, or joked back in the day. And we've not heard that.
Staying mum is keeping secret.
Keeping secretive.
It's mum's the word.
Yeah.
You know that phrase.
But we've now heard, Stephen, I heard a strange noise. We've now heard, Stephen, that, or read, that the UK version of Disney's official Star Wars website has included Matt Smith's name amongst the cast for the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker recent trailer. So it's reigniting the possibility of Matt Smith potentially starring in the film. Could he have been misdirecting us all beautifully? And he is indeed starring in the Rise of Skywalker. And could he indeed be a Knights of Ren? Could he be a possessed Knights of Ren? How is this going to potentially impact on the story once Kylo Ren gets wind of it, if it's true? Is this going to see a turn for Kylo, turning on the Knights of Ren? And could he then perhaps be redeemable thereafter? And could it play into that previous topic we were talking about, Stephen, I believe? Sure we were, where we could see Mark Hamill, I keep saying Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker conjuring up force visions of Han Solo in a bid to perhaps save Kylo. I don't know. I'm getting off on a big tangent here. It's not connecting at all.
One thing, if Matt Smith's going to be part of the Knights of Ren, John, if that's true, it suggests to me that the Knights of Ren are not going to be your ordinary henchmen. They're actually going to be quite character driven in this film. You're going to get to see the personalities, because you don't employ someone like Matt Smith and his abilities to just be a man in a suit. Well,
we've seen it with Daniel Craig, and Tom Hardy was actually a stormtrooper and didn't even get in the film. So it's possible.
Were they credited though?
No, they weren't. They weren't.
That's what kind of suggests to me that Matt Smith has got a part to play. We kind of broke down the last time we talked on this subject, Matt Smith's answer when he was asked whether or not he was going to be in the Star Wars film. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing here. It was something, I've not heard that I am, or something. I can't remember what it was. It was something very evasive. It wasn't an order. Instead of just saying, no, I'm not in it.
Yeah, it wasn't coming out directly and saying, I am not in the film.
Yeah.
He was playing around with it.
Yep.
And I think, Stephen, it could be a play on words.
Yeah.
I think he could be in there, but it's not immediately obvious that he's in the film, much like Simon Pegg in The Force Awakens with obviously Unkar Plutt.
Yeah.
He could be behind a mask, and we don't know it's Matt Smith. So that could lend itself again to the Knights of Ren theory, because as we do know, a number of these guys, I think there's 6 of them, are masked. So it could be that we don't see them. So I don't know, Stephen. Again, it's all speculation heavy, all Mike Zero-esque this week on the Force Friday show, all McGovern's and all. But look, I don't know what to make of it. Could he be in it? I hope he is, because I love the guy's acting. I think he's a really good actor who has been let down with shit choices over the last few years. That Terminator, I think it was Genesis film, terrible. So hopefully he's going to be a part of this big juggernaut franchise and do himself justice like he did on The Crown and on Doctor Who. But look, Steve, I'm going to move on to the next topic, and it's all about a nice little editorial from Superhero Hype saying that Disney created its own Star Wars problem. And the general gist of this very, very long but very interesting article is that Disney screwed up, I believe, with the trailer, firstly, not releasing the title until the teaser trailer, whereas Endgame got it right and Marvel got it right with Endgame. Disney didn't quite get it right with The Rise of Skywalker, because the title just didn't, it overpowered the trailer. People were dissecting this teaser or this title, what could it mean, and not really focusing as much on the trailer as they could, whereas Endgame just beautifully flowed in with the trailer. The other general gist of this article is all about Disney's tumultuous, troubled production problems dating way back to the 1970s and 80s, where they would buy up cool sort of I want to say franchises, but that's not technically true, but just IPs, that's a gaming term, and then they would turn them into
properties.
These properties, and then turn them into sort of a paint by number reissued or just rolling them out sequentially, essentially sequels, rolling them out, and they were just bog standard crappy paint by number films, and we've kind of seen a hint of that with Star Wars. I don't think that personally. I think they've been done a little bit better, but we've seen it with Pixar as well. They bought Pixar and it kind of lost its gloss a little bit. It wasn't, the story making's not been as good as in recent years since Disney got their claws into it. Not for me anyway. It's not like the original Toy Story days and whatnot. But Stephen, what do you make of this article? Are they right?
No, they're not. Listen, I've watched a lot of these trailer reactions on YouTube since the trailer dropped about 3 weeks ago, last Friday. Or 4 weeks it will be now. Everyone's reaction to that title coming up at the very end was they hear the laugh from Palpatine and they're shocked, and then that title comes up and they're like, J.J. Abrams is very good at doing this. This is what he does to people. This is what he does to fans. He likes to throw some crumbs to the fans and to speculate. That's what it's all about. That's the build-up to any big blockbuster film. Endgame's a different story. We knew this was going to be the last film. Doctor Strange says we're coming into the Endgame now. It was all so obvious.
People had predicted it on their Twitter.
I think if...
months in advance.
Yeah, exactly, John. Exactly, you know, and I think everyone... I don't think there was a big reaction when the actual title came up on the...
That wasn't me doing the toilet there, Steve. That was me pouring water.
The trailer, John, for Endgame, I don't think there was as big a reaction for that title coming up. It was just a, you know, that kind of thing. Well, this is the end, right? That's good. The Rise of Skywalker could mean many things, and that's why J.J. Abrams has titled this film The Rise of Skywalker, because he wants to do that to the fans. He wants to play with the fans. He wants to have the speculation juggernaut beginning, you know, its course over the next 8 or so months. And that's just the way it is. That's the way he likes to do it. He did it with Force Awakens as well, with those 3 great trailers. I don't remember much speculation with the Last Jedi trailers. I think they were a bit of a letdown. There wasn't much there. Even the title, The Last Jedi, offered a little bit of debate on who was the Last Jedi. But that kind of petered out after maybe a couple of months. I think people were just not caring by that point. They were saying we'll find out soon. This is different because this is the last film. The Rise of Skywalker can mean so many things. We've already been down this road with all the theories, who they're referring to. They're not mentioning any sexies here, whether it's Leia or whether it's Rey, Luke, Kylo. We just don't know. I don't really mind. I actually just... When the film comes out, we'll find out. I think the theory is that Skywalker is going to be a terminology for Force users. I think that's what it's going to be.
I do too, Steve.
I think that makes more sense, but it didn't bother me seeing this reveal at the end of the trailer. I thought it's quite well done. I think most films should be done that way.
And what, Stephen, do you make also about this potential problem? Have Disney created their own problem with Star Wars? Obviously, we've seen the Bob Iger quotes that they would be putting the films on hiatus and focusing on the Mandalorian and the TV shows for a couple of years before restarting the production rolling with also the potential Benioff and Weiss or Rian Johnson films. Well, do you agree with that? They actually say here that Disney's animation team relocated to a different place, I believe it was in Glendale. Production cycles were shortened. Moves promoted higher output, which sacrificed the quality of the animation. As I did say with Pixar, when they took over from Pixar, bought it over, the focus shifted away from creating emotional sucker punch and great original little stories, more to churning out sequels. And we've kind of seen something similar when they bought over Star Wars. They're too scared to take risks, go off in new directions and expand the universe out in favour of going over again the recurring characters, and they've shrunk the universe at times.
Prior to Disney's takeover, John, we were used to getting one Star Wars film when they came out. That was every 3 years.
Exactly.
That's what we were used to. Disney takeover, we're getting a film every year, up to last year. Well, I suppose Solo did come out last year.
Almost 2 years, 2 in 1 year. They tested the boundary with Solo.
Maybe probably 18 months gap between these films. So I'm not in the business. It's not really up to me. I can't really say how they should have done it.
Yeah.
But they've done it now. I think Disney perhaps overexcited and, owning the franchise. I don't know.
I think it was a necessity as well, Stephen, just purely because of the big financial output of buying the rights to Star Wars. I think they wanted their money back.
You want to get your money back as soon as possible as well. But if it was me, I would have stuck to the way they were released before. I would have put episode 7, 8 and 9 out 3 years apart and dealt with that. I would have kept it one director, keep the consistency of those films and end the Skywalker. If that was always a plan to end the Skywalker saga after episode 9, then that's the way they probably should have done it.
Yeah.
After that, Star Wars story films would have worked, I think. Problem is, though, you're right, John, it was such a big takeover. They wanted their money back as soon as possible, and they got it back.
Yeah.
I liked Rogue One. I thought it was a fantastic
You're
film.
speaking about it.
It was a safe film, but it was a good film. Solo, another safe film. It was a nice adventure. In fact, I don't think I've seen that film since I went to cinema to see it last year, which is a pity. But
same with Last Jedi, Steve.
Yeah,
I've
The
not
Last
seen it in
Jedi
a
as
long
well.
time now. I always go back to Rogue One.
But I think Mark
Always.
Hamill's voiced. I think he's voiced that you've got to be careful not to oversaturate, the fan base with too many films. There was a point when a lot of people online, the likes of people on Collider, etc., were wanting 2 films per year. That works for Marvel because of the array of characters they've got. They've got so much selection to pick from, where you can have a year of a Doctor Strange film, and perhaps a Thor film or whatever, or one of the more established characters. That works.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, they don't have that source material to work from at this stage, because
Stephen.
they're taking bits and elements from what's it called now? What do they call it?
Canon?
The old
Republic.
the old canon. What was it called? Expanded
Universe.
Universe. I don't think they call it now though. Legends they call it now.
Legends now, yeah.
They're taking elements from that. You're seeing some characters getting pulled in from those sources, but they don't really want to go down that road. We've seen there's a bit of a disconnection between Pablo Hidalgo's working team and Kathleen Kennedy's working team, sadly.
Yeah.
I
She's
think
focused more on the films.
Yeah.
That's
what she does, though, to be fair to her.
Exactly. Stephen. Kind of a disconnected, discombobulated way of doing these stories and releasing the films within the saga.
Yeah.
Which I agree with you, I didn't like. You didn't even need to have one director through the whole trilogy. Just have a story in mind, an arc which had a beginning, a middle and an end. And they knew the direction, and they could perhaps play within to a certain degree, but they had to follow this arc. And I just feel that hasn't been the case at all. I think it's been all over the place. Rian Johnson came in, had his own vision, and it didn't marry well for me. Sorry, it didn't.
No.
But I kind of agree, Stephen, that I would have continued the original way of releasing films every 3 years. That would have worked for me. Bob Iger alluded that they'd made a mistake. They'd rushed things, and I think the quality took a dip as a result. But look, Stephen, we are going to move on swiftly because we are running out of time here.
No problem.
This is going to be a shorter little topic. You mentioned the man, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Talking about oversaturation. This time he's having to defend an unexpectedly controversial Star Wars reunion photo. This was on Twitter. Someone had put up a photo of Star Wars what it should have been, and it was essentially Lando, Leia, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Mark Hamill also posted it on Twitter, hashtag missed opportunities, and he's been getting some shit. Essentially, this image comes from one of the alt-right portion of the fan base, right? Bad looks are. See, I hate this, Stephen. First and foremost, I hate this crap about alt-right and all of this nonsense within the fan base. See, political sort of a partisan divides within these fan bases. I'm left-wing, I'm libertarian, you're alt-right, you're conservatives or some crap like that, I don't know. Facing off and having to split everything down the line. It doesn't matter what it is in life.
John, they would do that with the last box of Rice Krispies in a supermarket.
Splitting everything, it's not, you don't have to split everything down party political lines.
I've noticed this a lot, particularly in the US, it has to be said. Without sounding too controversial here, I think that nation is still very, not immature, but they're still finding their way in regards to sort of social imbalance that's in their country at the moment. So if you're saying one thing, you're either you must be a lefty, and if you agree with a certain thing, or you're an absolute righty. It shouldn't really come into it. I think Mark Hamill, we know what his humour's like, John. This is the thing that I take everything that Mark Hamill says on social media with a pinch of salt. I don't get off my. I think it says his knickers in a twist here, but I don't think anyone should really take this stuff that serious, because at the end of the day, it's actually quite a good vision.
It was Billy D. Williams that actually said you should be used to getting everyone's knickers in a twist. Part of your charm, man.
Yeah.
Stephen, I don't even agree with the actual photo. Opportunities missed. because no one could have ever had the foresight to see that Carrie Fisher was going to pass away tragically. I mean, they couldn't have possibly have fitted all these characters in. You touched upon it before we came on.
Listen, I support Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm like, you know. But John, Disney have always said since 2013, this new trilogy is going about the new characters. The legacy characters, as they now call them, are going to take a back step. They're going to be supporting roles. And when they said that, I accepted it, like most Star Wars fans did. Disney haven't fooled anyone here. They've not ripped anyone off. That was always their game plan from the kickoff, and they've stuck with that. So you've got to give them credit to that. It's not for me to say. I would have preferred to have seen this vision. You've seen this image. I would have loved that, but I'd have loved that probably back in the 1990s more than now.
And Stephen, if they had to have followed that vision of bringing all of the old gang back together, they would have been destroyed by elements of the fan base saying, "Look at this. They're risk adverse. They're not going to take any risks. They're not expanding the universe out. They can't win." Would I have liked to have seen the original trio reunite? Of course I would have.
Yeah.
But I says to you, Stephen, they're saying missed opportunities. How Star Wars should have been. Where is Chewie? He's not there.
Yeah, he's not there, John.
Racist against Chewbacca and the Wookiees. You racist gits.
Yep.
You must be alt-right or left-wing libertarians doing it again. See, I don't restrict myself into party politics and whatnot and partisan lines, and I don't give a shit about that. I just enjoy it for what it is, art. I don't speculate as much as some people do. I just like to go in and enjoy the vision for what it is. Sometimes I'll agree with it, sometimes I won't, and that's life. It's not to be. People have passed away now. You're never going to get that vision. Move on in life. Mark Hamill seen it, posted it for a bit of humour. Maybe put his opinion out about a missed opportunity. Absolutely fine, that's his opinion, and you get people attacking him. So screw them. That's what I say. That's the moral of the story, Stephen.
Yeah.
And I think we'll round up the show on this.
Well, listen, just one last thing, John. In regards to missed opportunities, George Lucas is to blame for this.
You're absolutely
possibly
right,
Harrison Ford as well, because Harrison Ford would never have agreed to this unless it was in his terms. So he got his terms, and he wanted, kill the character off.
And he probably wanted the film to himself as well, Stephen, because it was very much the Han Solo show, The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So would he have been happy taking a bit part role as part of a collective group of older characters coming together? I have my doubts about that. But Stephen, we were briefly going to touch upon the title, a foreign title.
But we'll not bother.
A Polish title, getting people's knickers in a twist, funnily enough. And could it mean this, could it mean that? But we've not got time, so we're going to round the show up on that note. If you've enjoyed it, you know what to do. I say it time and again, this is my George Harrison mantra, not Hare Krishna and things like that. Like the video, comment below and tell us what your thoughts are. That's my mantra. If you want to do it, fair play. If you don't, you know, I don't care. It's all about choice in life. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and we'll be back next Monday with MBE Box Office.